children will drive you to the depot. Leo, Alexandra, you will drive Mr. Marshall down?
Yes, sir. Not very often Uncle Ben lets me drive the horses, and a beautiful pair they are. Come on, Sam.
May I drive the horses, Uncle Ben? I'd like to.
In your evening clothes? Oh, no, my dear.
Leo,
I don't like to say goodbye to Mr. Marshall.
Then we won't say goodbye. You promised to come and let me show you Chicago. Do I have to make you promise again?
I promise it.
Goodbye, Mrs. Harper.
goodbye, sir.
Remember.
I will.
We shall see you to the carriage.
Well, there goes the man who will open the door to our future, Bertie.
What?
Our future. Yours and mine, Ben's and Oscar's, the children's, our future. You were charming at supper. Mr. Marshall certainly thought so.
Oh, Regina, do you think he did?
Or can't you tell when you're being admired?
Oh, well, Oscar said I bored Mr. Marshall. But he admired you. He told me so.
What did he say?
He said that I hope your sister-in-law will come to Chicago. All of Chicago will be at her feet. He said the ladies will bow to your manners and the gentlemen to your looks.
Did he? I think he's a lonely man. Imagine being lonely with all that money. I don't think he likes his wife.
Not like his wife. What a thing to say.
Well, she's away a great deal. He said that several times. And once he even made fun of her for being so social and high-toned. But that'll fit in all right. Her being social, I mean. She can introduce me. It won't take long with an introduction from her.
Introduce you? In Chicago? You mean you really might go? Oh, but Regina, what about Horace?
Don't be so scared about everything, Bertie. I'm going to live in Chicago. I've always wanted to. There'll be plenty of money now to go with.
But, well, Horace won't be able to move around. You know what the doctor wrote.
There'll be millions, Bertie, millions. You know what I've always said when people told me that we were rich? I said, I think you should be either a nigger or a millionaire. In between like us, what for? But I'm not going tomorrow, Bertie. There's plenty of time to worry about Horace when he comes home. That is, if he ever decides to come home.
Well, we be going to Chicago? I mean, Oscar and Leo and me?
I shouldn't think so. Well, we must always remember tonight. It's a very important night, and we must never forget it. We shall plan all the things that we want, and then we'll really have them. So make a wish, baby. Any wish. Bound to come through now.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. Maybe. Oh, I guess I know right off what I wanted.
Well, Ben, you did it.
Looks like it might be we did.
Looks like, oh, stop pretending. You look like a cat that's been licking the cream. And now we should all drink to celebrate.
The children, Leo and Alexandra, make a very handsome couple, Regina. Mr. Marshall himself remarked what a nice couple they were and how well they looked together.
Yes, Oscar, you said that before.
Yes, sir. It's beginning to look like the deal's all set. I may not be a subtle man, but now somebody asked me how I know the deal is set.
What do you mean, Ben?
You remember how I told him that down here we drink the last drink for a toast?
Yes, but I've never heard that before.
Nobody's ever heard that before. God forgive those who invent what they need. I already had his signature, but we've all done business with men whose word over glass is as good as a bond. Anyway, it don't hurt to have both.
I don't understand what you mean.
Do you understand what Ben means?
Oh, I understood immediately then.
Did you, Regina?
Uh-huh.
Well, when he lifted his glass to drink, I closed my eyes and I saw those bricks going into place.
I saw a whole lot more than that.
Slowly, slowly, as yet we have only our hope.
Bertie and I have been planning what we want. I know what I want. What will you want, then?
Caution! Don't count the chickens. Well, I guess God would allow us a little daydreaming. Good for the soul. when you've worked hard enough to deserve it. I think I'll have a stable. For a long time now, I've had my good eyes on Carter down in Savannah. A rich man's pleasure. The sport of kings. Why not the sport of hubbards? Why not?
Why not? And what will you have, Oscar?
Oh, I don't know. The pleasure of watching the bricks grow will be enough for me.
Oh, of course, our greatest pleasure will be watching the bricks grow. But we're all entitled to a little side indulgence.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, then I think we may take a few trips here and there, eh, Bertie?
Oh, yes, Oscar, I'd like that.
Maybe you make a regular trip up to Jekyll Island. I hear the Cornelli place is for sale. Well, maybe think about buying it. Make a nice change. Do you good, Bertie, and change the climate. Fine shoot on Jekyll Base.
Oh, Oscar, I know what I'd like.
What would you like?
Well, two things I'd like.
2.
Oh.
I'd like 1,000. Why, you are modest, Bertie.
I should like to see Lionette back. I know you own it, but I should like to see it back the way Mom and Papa had it. Every year it got a nice coat of paint. Papa was very particular about the paint. And the lawn was so smooth, all the way down to the river, with the trims of zinnia and red feather plush, and the figs and the blue little plums and the scuppernongs. Oh, and the organ is still there. It wouldn't cost much to fix. We could have parties for Zan, just the way Mama used to have for me.
That's a pretty picture, Bertie. Might be a most pleasant way to live. What do you want, Regina?
And I could have a cutting garden, just where Mama's used to be. Oh, I do think we could be happier at Lionette. Papa used to say no one had ever lost their temper at Lionette, and nobody ever would. Papa would never let anyone be nasty-spoken or mean. No, sir, he just didn't like it.
What do you want, Regina?
I am going to Chicago. And when I'm settled there and I know all the right people and all the right things to buy, then I am going to go to Paris and buy them. I'm going to leave you and Oscar to count the bricks.
And Oscar, there's just one more wish.
Are you serious about moving to Chicago?
She is going to see the big world and leave us in the little one. Well, we'll come and visit you and meet all the great and be proud to think you are our sister.
Certainly. And you won't even have to learn to be subtle then. You'll stay just the way you are. You'll be rich, and the rich don't have to be subtle.
Now, what about Alexandra? She's 17, old enough to think about marrying.
Oscar, I have one more wish. Just one more wish.
What is it, Bertie? What are you saying?
I want you to stop shooting.
Ugh.
I mean, so much. I don't like to see animals and birds killed just for the killing.
It'll
You only
take
throw
a
them
lot
away.
of money to live
You never
after
let anyone
planning,
else shoot.
Regina.
The niggas need it so badly to keep from starving, and it's wicked just to shoot food just because you like to shoot.
I have estimated.
When the poor people need it so badly, I
What'd you
always
say,
wanted to
Ben?
speak to you about it,
I
Oscar.
have
What are you
estimated
chattering
the
about?
profit
I was
very
talking about
high for
Lionette and your
myself.
shooting.
You're excited yourself.
Nobody told us. Regina asked me what I'd like. That would be so rich, and everybody was saying what they would like. I said what I would like
What
too.
you
Very
say
well,
that.
we've all heard you. That's enough.
I am waiting. I'm waiting for you to finish, you and Bertie. 4 conversations is 3 too many. I said that I had and I do estimate the profits very high for myself. And Oscar, of course.
What does that mean?
Well, Regina, it's like this. For 49%, Marshall will put up $400,000. Now, for 51%, a controlling interest, mind you, we will put up $225,000, besides certain benefits that our local position allows us to manage. It means that $225,000 is a lot of money.
I know the terms. I know it's a lot of money.
It is.
But Ben means that we have no problem coming up with our share. But your share, your third, Horace's, doesn't seem to be ready. Ben has written Horace, I've written, you have written. He answers, but he never mentions his business. And even though we've wrote to him telling him the urgency, he still never responds. Now, Ben is a very patient man, Regina. Naturally, you are a sister, so we'd like to see you benefit from anything that we do.
And in addition to your concern for me, you do not want control to go out of the family, right, Ben?
That's cynical. Cynicism is just an unpleasant way of saying the truth.
Well, no need to be cynical. We'd have no problem finding the extra share, the share you want to take.
I'm sure you could find a third share, the share that you were saving for me. But that would give you a strange partner. And sometimes strange partners want a great deal. But perhaps it would be wise for you to find him.
Well, now, nobody says that we want to do that. We want you to come in, and you want to come in.
Yes, I certainly would.
But we haven't heard from Horace.
I've given my word that Horace will put up the money. That should be enough.
It was enough, but I'm going to need more than your word now. The contracts will be signed this week, and Marshall's going to want to see our money soon after. Regina, Horace has been in Baltimore for 5 months, and I know you've written him to come home, and he hasn't come.
It's beginning to look as if he doesn't want to come home.
Of course he wants to come home. You can't move around with heart trouble at any moment you choose. You know what doctors are like when they get their hands on a case like this.
Well, they can't very well keep him from answering letters, can they? They can't keep him from arranging money if he wanted to.
Has it ever occurred to you that Horace is also a good businessman?
Certainly. He is a shrewd trader, always has been. The bank is proof of that.
Well, then possibly he's remaining silent because he doesn't think he's getting enough for his money. $75,000 he's got to put up. That's a lot of money, too.
Oh, nonsense. He knows a good deal when he hears one. And he knows that we can make twice the profit from manufacturing cotton goods here that can be manufactured up north.
That's not what Regina means. May I interpret you, Regina? Regina is saying that Horace wants more than a third of our share.
Well, he's only putting up a third of the money. You put up a third, you get a third. What else could he expect?
Oh, I don't know about these things. It would seem that if you put up a third, you should only get a third, but then again, there's no law about it, is there? I should think if you knew that your money was very badly needed, that you might just say, well, I want more. I want a bigger share. You boys have done that. I've heard you say so.
So you believe he's deliberately holding out for a bigger share? Well, I don't believe it. But I do believe that's what you want. Am I right, Regina?
Oh, I shouldn't like to be too definite. But I could say that I would not like to persuade Horace unless I knew he was getting a bigger share. I must look after his interests. That seems only natural.
Now, where is this larger share coming from?
No, it's not my business. But perhaps it could come off your share, Oscar.
What kind of talk is this?
I didn't say a thing.
You were talking very big tonight.
Am I? Well, you should know me well enough to know that I wouldn't be asking for things I didn't think I could get.